Is it the weather that makes the everyone unfriendly?
I'll tell you what it is. It's the British think they have the best weather in the world because it's a bit of everything. But in fact, we know the truth. It's just awful.
Oh, so you're considered the friendly one.
Yeah, I'm the one. Yeah, I'm the only
The one. You're the one, the chosen one. You should represent in the UN. I think so. Here in America, there's one thing I noticed, and I don't know if it's everywhere. There's a isolationalists. There's what do you call it? America first, forget everybody else.
Exceptionalism, isolation. Yes, it's everywhere now because it's that populism goes with it, doesn't it? And so, but there's a strange problem with it, which is that if everybody is exceptional, then we've got an issue, haven't we?
Yeah, we're in trouble because I look in the mirror. I said, the opposite. You're the least exceptional person. You've lost your hair. Well, actually, I didn't lose it. I cut it off. You know why? Because I don't want to dye my hair. That's why it was just it started going gray. I was like, I can grow hair, but then it'll be a different color.
Well, you can embrace things like that. I started going grey when I was 27, so I just adapted my personality to the grey hair.
You're exceptional. Yeah, I would believe that. What makes a 10-year relationship last?
Oh, I just do everything that I'm told and censor my stand-up comedy in such a way that whilst I can do jokes about our relationship, as long as the joke always reflects badly on me at the end of the joke, that's fine.
I was in a 10-year relationship as well. It was a gay relationship. This is my secret for making a 10-year, which is impossible for a gay relationship. The secret is pretending to be gay. That's it.
Pretending to be gay.
Yes, worked for me. Because now I'm no longer as gay as I was in a relationship, just like less gay.
So because I'm, and I regret this, relentlessly heterosexual. Can I ask you what is it like to be partly or less gay than you were? I mean, how do you characterize that?
Well, it's all in my book, How to Be Less Gay.
It's a great title.
Yes. Being gay for me was all about physicality. It's the ease of it. I can pick up my phone now in 2 minutes. I can get a BJ. Don't ask what a BJ is. I can get all the things that men want repeatedly, 20 times a day.
This is from Amazon, yeah?
Grindr, all those apps, it's disgusting. So I say that to say, I'm less disgusting now. It's like a cleanse.
And what percentage of less disgusting are you?
I'll give the last word there.
How fresh?
Just in. 67 natural causes.
The name's Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker Street.
Part two. Part two is more action-based. I'm gonna walk around, shake things up a bit. Weddings are great. Love a wedding.
What's he doing?
Something's wrong.
We found it in the hands of our favourite psychopath.
Not a psychopath, Anderson. I'm a high-functioning sociopath. Do your research. You need to bring Rachel in. You need to question her. I need to question her.
What are you typing?
Blog.
About?
Us.
You mean me?
Why?
Well, you're typing a lot. Private detective, the last thing I need is a public image.
Benedict.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yes. You had me at cum.
If you can say cauliflower, you can say Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch. I think he's such a brilliant actor, but I think they dumbed it down a little bit. Like I wanted to see, when he puts his solutions, the text there is it's a little too modern.
First line was something about the curses of a mind like his. And I thought that's a good way, the curses of a male mind. I mean, what's a better way to start off, right?
My curse.
You didn't say Mein Kampf.
Yeah, having a mind is a struggle.
I watched Doctor Strange because of Benedict Cumberbatch, and that's because of Sherlock. So I'm a huge fan of that series. And I've also read the books. It's completely different from the books, from what I've understood. I've not read a lot of books of Sherlock Holmes, but I had a fair share in my syllabus. That's how I read Sherlock Holmes. I never actually had a book of or things. We had it in our syllabus, so we have to study those to write our English examinations. So Sherlock Holmes is one of my favorite characters.
Excited, the same way I get excited about Star Trek. New interpretation of Star Trek. Oh my God. My nipples get hard and all of that good stuff. So, and I also try to walk around in my fantasies and think I'm Sherlock Holmes when I'm in the hood.
Remember, in the original, Sherlock Holmes actually spoke Aramaic, just like Jesus Christ.
Oh, he is my Jesus. Thank you for that. Yes. There's Jesus.
We were having Bible study. This is great.
Jesus is number 7 and Sherlock is number 8. Because they were more important. My mom gave me the option. Would you want to be a Catholic? You have to go to church. Or, but I won't go, my mom said. And I said, you're not going? I'm not. So Sherlock is just one step ahead.
We all pretend to be Sherlock Holmes. We all pretend to be detectives. But deep down, we all know that we are Dr. Watson. I mean, come on. We're all Dr. Watson.
The difference between Jesus and Sherlock Holmes is that Sherlock Holmes is still alive, although Jesus lives in everyone, right?
You look at these scattered houses and you're impressed by their beauty. I look at them, and the only thought which comes to me is a feeling of their isolation and of the impunity by which crime may be committed there. They always fill me with a certain horror. It is my belief, Watson, founded upon my experience, that the lowest and vilest alleys in London do not present a more dreadful record of sin than does the smiling and beautiful countryside.
Jesus has spoken.
So when I was young and I first read that quote that the actor was speaking there from the original Conan Doyle stories, I thought, yes, Sherlock Holmes is right. The terrible criminal alleys of London have nothing on the terrible, evil, appalling things that can happen in the countryside. And I was totally convinced by that for a long time until I moved to the suburbs. And so my theory now is that the real weirdness doesn't lie in the alleys of London. It doesn't lie in the smiling countryside. The real weirdness is in the suburbs, Henry. The suburbs.
Oof, I get scared when there's no Starbucks around.
If you look at horror films, many of the most successful US horror films are set in suburbs. Now, I know there are exceptions, but I'd say that many of the best horror franchises are suburban set. And I've been obsessed with those franchises for a long time now. In fact, I'd love to appear in a US horror film, but I'd like to play the final girl, please.
I'm going to call my Hollywood agent.
Lifetime television. So the channel for women is all about that, Nick. So go for it.
I want to be the one person of color that survives.
Oh.
Don't go outside.
Like, I made it to the end of the credits. What? In most horror films, they kill all the people of color first.
I think the real evil lies on social media. I mean, there's nothing that beats the actual evil on social media. We talk about animals, we're talking about killing animals. People on social media are literal animals. Like, you can live in a rural area, urban area, suburb, anywhere in the world. But if you have that one phone in your hand, you're as evil as Hitler, if I'm comparing it, if I'm God winning, but you're as evil as the most evil person on earth.
So would we want a time machine to go back in time to kill, for example, I don't know, Jeff Bezos or no, Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg as a baby. We go back and we strangle Zuckerberg as a baby, do we? I mean,
or Hitler, Zuckerberg or Hitler, one or the other, right?
Well, you can maybe both.
Yes.
I love reading the comments when I go to every YouTube channel. That's where the pure evil is. Even the nicest thing, it could be Greta Thunberg asking for help to save our planet. And there's so much evil in those comments.
Yeah. I hate to agree with you, but you are absolutely right. People who comment are usually insane. They may not be evil, they may be innocent by virtue of insanity.
Located in New Mexico's high desert is the complete rethinking of a house. These off-grid buildings are designed to harness heat in the winter and deter it in the summer. Their roofs are built to utilize every drop of rainwater and designed to grow their own food. Using old tires, bottles, and beer cans, these homes are made out of garbage. Built into the earth and completely autonomous like a ship, they're called earth ships. Amazingly, those who live in these odd-looking structures still enjoy almost all of the luxuries of a traditional house. Nowhere else in America can you legally experiment with housing like this according to New Mexico state law.
I've got as many bottles as he had in his house. I've got that many in my kitchen now, just waiting for recycling. But it's interesting how people assume they'll be the ones to survive. And is it really worth surviving some apocalypse to gain a few more weeks or months or a couple of years of miserable living? I don't think so. I'd rather go out with the first bang.
The dream that was sold in America is if you're in the middle class, you can own a house. Now it's pretty much, if you want to own a house now, you have to be, your name has to end in Gates. Bill Gates, Greta Thunberg.
And I should say that things are equally difficult in the UK. So what dream is left?
The dream is to have clean water. We're struggling with that too. And now I'm actually thinking like going to New Mexico and living in isolationist, where my neighbor is some wacko who likes tires. What more can I ask for?
Easier to get permits, calling it like a waste area, than it is to get, the kind of housing, all the solar, et cetera. That's crazy.
I don't know how many of you know about this, but there's this thing called the climate clock, theclimateclock.com, I guess, which counts how many years are left until global warming reaches to a certain limit that all humanity will, be erased out of existence. And currently it shows that we are 7 years, 83 days left for us to survive. Unless we make a difference, it's not going to change. The world's going to end in 7 years. That's what the climate clock says.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what Greta Thunberg is asking for is not unreasonable. I mean, but there are a lot of men, a lot of middle-aged men or older men who resist that thinking. And it's not like, she's only asking them to cut back on their sports cars. Yeah. She's not asking them to give up their Viagra.
Imagine inviting dates over, come over to my waste dump. Let's bring dates over to the earth ships.
Well, that's a turn on for an increasingly large number of younger people, Henry.
Get dirty together. Let's go play with my tires.
That's a pickup line.
I've got all the rubber in the world.
The Millennium Falcon. That's what I was thinking. Like, just go on a hoverboard or something.
We comedians should really follow Greta Thunberg because we recycle our jokes so much. She will be proud of us.
Build back better, blah, blah, blah. Green economy, blah, blah, blah. Net zero by 2050, blah, blah, blah. Net zero, blah, blah, blah. Climate neutral, blah, blah, blah.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe.
The then 16-year-old was angry that promises made in the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement were not being met.
You know, I am also in the school of Greta. I am one of those middle-aged men who I'm simply perfectly prepared to do whatever Greta says, just as I do also whatever my girlfriend says. So it all makes sense to me, Henry. It all makes sense to me.
I feel like I'm being, you know, there's mansplaining, child-splaining. Like she's breaking it down for me, and it's hard to chew on when it comes from someone younger than me. Like I do think all young people are weak-minded, and they're in their feelings. They're like, oh, they're so easily offended. When I'm in the old age home, clean up my mess.
They do, Henry. They do. They'll have to change your nappies, or I believe the Americans call diapers. But maybe you could become a vegan now, which would make that less unpleasant for those young people in the future.
Vegan is just they'll be all green then. Yes, which ties into Greta. I can be on board with Greta if she wasn't acting like she was breaking up with me. Blah, blah, blah. Your words are just horrible. You are evil. You are all evil.
I mean, you can see in Greta Thunberg's speech as well. She was like, how dare you? My dreams, my ambitions, all of my things have been ruined.
Then I said, you're not my kid. I didn't ruin your dreams. I didn't birth you. You're not my responsibility.
Essentially, you have a problem with tone. That's all. It's not content, it's tone that's bothering you. So distinguish the tone from the content. And I think a lot of older people are just jealous that younger people have so much longer to live left. And actually, Cancel Cop, I know your real name, and you're very young, and you're going to live for decades after I'm dead, Cancel Cop. So I just hope there's still a world here.
You know, the way Greta Thunberg delivers her thoughts might be a bit rude, but I guess that is the rudeness we need to have so that things get into action. I don't see any change in things, but
if Greta Thunberg is right, then in the horror film of the end of the world, she'll be the final girl.
As she steps on our graves, everyone knows something's going on, but they either just decided to put their blinders on and say, well, that's not that bad. The gas companies, the petrol companies have said, you know, when they were going to be the target, they kind of redirected it and flipped it and said, we have a solution to everything. We'll recycle. Take those plastic bags and recycle them. It was the petrol companies that did that, came up with their solutions because they were going to be the victims.
And that is disgusting because they've known about the implications of climate change since the 1960s. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but this isn't a conspiracy theory. It's true that they knew and they did everything they could to divert attention from it.
We don't give a F about things. Like you make the global warming is real, things are getting hotter. Who cares? I'm going to wear my full sleeves and I'm going to roam because I don't give an F. I want to live the way I want to. Like, that's what I love about humans. We have that hope that we're going to live. We have that hope that everything's going to be all right. We have that hope that, you know, people will fix things. And that's what I like, that we want to live that hopeful life.
Mother Nature is going up, putting on her bra and saying, listen, piss off.
Just like what happened to the dinosaurs.
If a puppy wants to get into, have a puppy and he wants to get into something, the first 20 times I'm like, no, there's no way you can do that. But if you keep that loop going, I just eventually say, just do whatever. Go ahead, Greta, play on a loop.
Blah, blah, blah. That should be the end of the podcast.
Blah,
Everyone,
blah, blah.
blah, blah, blah.
Go back better, blah, blah, blah.